In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to another episode of the GeniusBrain Podcast. I am your host, David So.
I'm your other host, Joe Jitsukawa.
Well. What have you been up to, dude?
What have I been up to? Man, there's a lot going on in my life right now. I'm about to go to Europe in a week.
Ooh, dude, you're a traveling man, dude. You're a different man.
It's one of my life bucket lists. And you know what's crazy? The happiest point of my life, I made this commitment. It was like 2018 or some shit like that. I was like, no. This was 2015. I don't know, man. My dates are all fucked up. Because 2018 was a year ago.
Yeah.
What was 5 years ago?
What's it, 2020? So
it's
what?
2019.
2015.
Yeah, 2015, right?
There, yeah.
I made a goal. This is around the time I met Jess, my ex. I made a goal that every month I'm going to be traveling somewhere. I don't know where I'm going to go. Like,
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. And I did it. And that shit was so fucking fun, dude. So, and then when we got into the relationship and we got really busy from work and just life happened, we still traveled. Like, I think we still travel more than the average person travels.
Yeah.
Like, we're hella blessed. Like, we're lucky, you know? But there's a difference between work traveling and just traveling.
Oh, for sure, dude.
Yeah.
When we were traveling before, like, for example, too, like, people don't understand it. It goes, oh, you want to go to Japan again for a third time. Well, the first time that we did it was in, like, a 20-person setting.
Yeah.
Second time we did it, it was literally for work.
It was for, we went to go visit our farms. So it's like a workcation, which is a little bit different.
Yeah. To me, it's a lot different, you know, because, and then on top of that, so, like, the third time, I just want to go just to explore, and I want to be there for 2 weeks. I think when you travel, too, it's hard to explore even a fraction of like people you have to realize too, you live in a city too where you're at, and then you still haven't even explored that within the 30 or 20 years that you lived. So how hard would it be to explore a whole country within a week?
Yeah, you can't. And then you don't want to rush things either. You don't want to be like, all right, we're going to do 10 items in this city, and then we're going to take the train and go to this city. And you just run so damn fast that you don't get to marinate. And I like to marinate, you know?
Yeah, because I know that, man, Japan has so much stuff to offer, man. If you guys haven't been to Japan, first of all, that country is the nicest country I've ever been to in my life. Like, people are so fucking nice over there in terms of, like, service. And also, too, because our dollar is more than theirs because their economy tanked. It feels fucking great.
We feel so rich. Well, if you go to the countryside, they're even nicer because Tokyo's like the New York of Japan. So they're actually mean.
Oh, really? That's considered mean?
That's considered mean by Japanese standards.
Holy shit.
They're too busy, you know, whatever. Like, you got to go to the countryside. You got to go to the suburb. I mean, Kyoto's more countryside, I guess, but it's touristy.
Yeah, very touristy.
And then, like, so, yeah, you where we went to was pretty touristy, but then if you go to the countryside and all that, Okinawa, Hokkaido, all that, like the north, all those areas are supposed to be really chill. Like, my brother did a whole backpacking trip from top to bottom.
Wow.
North to south. And he was like, yeah.
What's the age gap from you and your brother?
12.
Shit, dude.
Yeah, so 12 years.
But I'm always curious with, like, people who have, like, older brothers, because my cousin, his older brother is also about 10 to 12 years, and he was very, like, omnipresent. Like, he wasn't really there.
Yeah, I think the reason why we're not close too is because he is since he's 12 years older than me, and he went to boarding school. When you start your high school? Around like 14, right?
Yeah.
So 14 or 15. When they had me, things got busy. My parents were both working. My brother started acting up, so they sent him to boarding school in high school.
Holy shit.
So as soon as I was like 3 or whatever, he's gone for 4 years.
Oh, shit.
So when I'm 7, or he'll come back maybe to visit in the summer or whatever, we might see him. But like, I didn't see him until I was 7 or 8.
Damn.
Yeah. And then he lived at the house for about a year to go to community college. So that's the most time I've known him is for a year. And then he would take me skateboarding. That's when, like, I remember him fixing motorcycles and shit. And then he would put me on the back of his bike, and we're like Japanese hillbillies, dude. Like, this motherfucker, we fucking gunned it down the street, no helmet. And he would do donuts and destroy people's front lawn. And yeah, man, it was funny. Like, Looking back now, that was some dangerous shit. Yeah. I remember one time I got my ass beat because I was like 9 or 10 and I wasn't big enough to take his bike out, but I literally like picked it up and I turned it on and then the bike fell and I couldn't get it back up and he was pissed.
Oh, but yeah, because you dropped it. Yeah.
That's the most fun I had and the most interaction that I've had with him, because he was hella into like just redneck shit, like motorsports, skateboarding, surfing.
You and your brother are just very active people.
He's way crazier than I am. I'm a scaredy cat compared to him. Yeah, he's like the extreme sports guys that can actually do the tricks. I can't do any of the tricks.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
So like I'm not really a daredevil like him. Like he did the competitions, he did those, when you go snowboarding with this guy, he's flipping around and doing the 360s and shit and I'm just riding.
That's so interesting because like I feel you would think that maybe because when I see like some relatives, I usually see like the older or the younger brother, or the older and the younger brother being different, right? Like you could tell like they had like distinctive personality differences, but you're just like a not as, I guess, bold version of him in terms of like extreme sports.
Oh yeah, no, not even. I wanted to be like him, and I would kind of mimic him, but he is a interesting case. Like I remember the last time we talked and we were talking about like ourselves and just whatever. We share a lot of similar personality traits in how we view the world and how we view society and all this other stuff. But when it comes down to how we play it out, it's completely different. Because I'm an extrovert like a motherfucker, right? Mm-hmm. Like I love audiences, I love people, I love going out, talking to others, making friends. He's like a severe introvert. He's like, I want a cabin in the woods kind of guy.
Oh. Yeah. Didn't you tell me one time this fool got lost in a forest?
Yeah, that was in Japan. So when he was doing a tour in Japan, he was with a tour group, and he kind of I don't think he's ADD, but he's kind of like that kid that follows a butterfly everywhere and loses track of time. So he's taking photos and stuff, and he's going into the forest, and he basically loses the tour group, and he goes deeper and deeper, and he says he starts finding these little what do you call them? They're like shrines or like little stone statue things, right?
Oh,
have you seen those?
Yeah. We saw that in the countryside.
They have little fox or like little Buddha guys or whatever, and he's like, that's tight. So he takes a picture and he goes to another, oh, that's tight, right? And before he knows it, he's like, oh crap, I don't know how to get back. So he's lost in the forest in Japan, and the fucking sun's about to go down. So he's running and looking around, and he's like, holy crap, right? He doesn't know what to do. And then he sees light and he follows it and he gets into this village, and then he kind of finds a guy walking in the village and he tells him like, yeah, I'm completely lost. This is what happened. And the village guy was like, oh shit, that sucks. And he goes, come over. And then he told his whole family, and then they basically gave him a room, fed him, let him bathe. And then in the morning they took him to they walked his ass all the way to the bus station, and then pretty much like did all that.
Japanese people are so fucking nice, dude. If I saw somebody in the middle of a forest, I'd be like, fuck you. You're going to murder me, dude.
But he probably, because he knows that my brother, he speaks Japanese too, so it's probably different from like, who's this? But they'll probably do it for a foreigner too.
That's fucking crazy.
But that's country people, right? And I feel like most country people all over the world are really good, like kind-hearted souls.
Dude, I could not get lost in the forest. I would fucking die, dude. I would literally fucking die.
That's not the first time he got lost in a forest, though.
Why does he keep going in the forest? What's wrong with him?
So he was like, he was telling me that he was like since he was so introverted, he hated being a little bitch about everything. Like, and he said, okay, I have to travel alone. Because
that's scary, dude.
Because he used to travel with people all the time. So he says, maybe in Japan I can do this. So he decided that he was going to go backpack in Japan and do this by himself. And then after that, he was like, I always want to travel alone. Fuck people. Because he's like, people drag me down. I have to negotiate and be like, you want to eat this? You want to go there? And then people are like, nah. And he's like, well, fuck. I don't want to listen to that. I want to go where I want to go. So he stopped traveling with people.
Wow. I can't I can't imagine not traveling with somebody.
Me too. I love the experience.
I like sharing the experience with each other, and then we could talk about it when we come after. Like, that's what I like about traveling.
Yeah.
Like, doing it by myself, it seems so empty to me.
Well, I'm going to Europe by myself, but I'm meeting someone there.
Oh, yeah. See, that's fine.
Yeah. Because, shout outs to Kyle Lee. Like, he's a vlogger out in Vietnam, and he's going to show me the ropes out there in Europe.
My friends told me that when I go to Vietnam, I'm going to look like a fucking giant.
Oh, dude, you are. Vietnamese people are small, man.
Dude, I already know what that's like because in Japan, I felt like I was a giant.
Yeah.
I remember the subway handles. It was like right at my nipple.
No, they're smaller than Japanese people. The younger generation isn't, though.
Oh, okay.
But for the most part, I think everyone's just smaller. Like, but you know our buddy TK that owns the club out there? Yeah. He's like 6 something.
Yeah, he's tall as fuck. He's taller than me.
He's tall. Like, he's towers, man.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because all the girls just like, they look at him like, oh my God, look at this tall drink of water. And then me and fucking Danny are standing behind him like these 2 fucking guys.
You know why? Because he looks American. Look at those nutrients in his body, dude. You know, he had an American diet.
I want the passport.
That's great. Do you feel like you're, I mean, I don't want to say that you've missed out on a lot, but you know, within the 5 years that you were together with Jess, like you really didn't get to do, or I felt like you weren't doing the stuff that you wanted to, right? Just because, you know, you guys were so different in terms of like traveling, in terms of experiences. You know, for her, I mean, like a lot of people don't know this about her, but when she travels, like she gets like huge fucking migraines, and it's very debilitating for her.
Yep.
You know, I think like when you're with somebody like that too, and I didn't experience, you know, that level of stuff, but recently Mariel was going through a stint where she wasn't very motivated. And I kind of felt a little bit of that where I felt guilty for wanting to leave and experience life without her.
That's what I was going through. Yeah. Because I shouldn't feel this way. I feel like...
Because she wasn't trapping you in that sense.
It's not her fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes what will happen is... so I didn't know this, but Bart gets airplane migraines too.
Oh.
So he was relating to Jess about this, but Jess gets them severely. So it's like the what do you call it? Like the height, the being up in the air, the tightness, the whatever, and then the going up and down and levels. Some people are affected by it, others aren't. But then Jess sometimes gets it to the point where she can't even walk because she's puking. So when we get to places, you know, we have to use the whole entire first day to just chill.
Yeah.
And my personality is, you know, I'm a fidgety motherfucker. Yeah. And I get crazy. So I'm like, I gotta go, dude. And she's like, can you get me medicine? And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, I'm gonna go get you medicine. Yeah. Then you get the fuck out of this hotel, right?
Yeah.
So I get out and I'm exploring. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, but I feel so bad. Like I should be there with her. So it was a struggle, man, because... a part of me is like, I want to share this experience with her. But the other part of me is like wanting to be a fucking Indiana Jones adventurer.
Yeah.
And then we both have different likes and dislikes and energy levels. Like she really likes to chill, take things slow, do things like on a resort and relax. And for me, I'll relax when I get home. Mm-hmm. I just want to see everything and move and for me, I don't get tired on trips because it's so energizing to me. But I know for some of my friends, like, and especially like with Jess too, trips exhaust them. So they need to have a recharge day.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I wasn't really a good boyfriend in that sense where I knew how to balance that. I would just get pissed. Like, why are you tired? We're on vacation, you know?
Yeah, I wouldn't say you were a bad boyfriend in that. It's just more like... You know, I mentioned this where I said that there are certain things that people have within a relationship that's their pillars. I call them pillars. It's like, these are stuff that cannot be removed or my foundation of as a human being gets broken. One of your pillars is how you experience life. Yeah. And I think with her, it was frustrating because you want to take her along, but she can't. Yeah. And so it's just... At first, it's like, okay, I feel bad. Then it's year 2, same thing. Year 3, same thing. Yeah. It builds up. Then you get a little bit of resentment in there. Yeah. And it's just both of you start to resent each other. And it's just coming from, it's weird because it's still coming from a good place. It's like, I wish that you could do this with me. Not fuck you, I want to bounce. It's more like,
I'm so frustrated because I want to share the experience and we can't just because, like at the end of the day, we're just two different people and we want different things out of a vacation. And I didn't realize how important that was to know that stuff before you get into a relationship with someone.
Yeah.
Like you got to test like how you both experience and explore a vacation, because these things, like, who the fuck knows until it happens. No wonder there's so many divorces in our parents' generation. They just fucking get married and then they find this shit out later and they're like, oh shit.
Yeah, people jump the gun and they get together really fast with people. And they get infatuated with this concept, like this fairy tale relationship concept a lot, right? It's like, because everybody's on a high when they first start. And you think that glimpse of happiness is something that's going to show what your whole future is going to be like. And it's not the fucking case.
Yeah.
Because even with your friends, you really don't even know who your friends are until you spend time with them.
Yeah.
Not even the first year, second, third, fourth, and fifth.
And then you're like, oh, fuck this guy. And you want to get away.
Yeah. There's been a lot of times too where we see friends where they assume that they know these people. And I use these words friends very loosely because Tim says it the best. He goes, there's homies and there's the homies. You know what I mean?
I have friends and I have homies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And homies are like, that's family, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And friends are like acquaintances. That's what most people call them.
Because we got a lot of acquaintances and friends.
Yeah.
It's just, how many people are the homies, where it's like, I can literally toss you my house key and be like, enter whenever you want.
Yeah.
And then they'll have enough like common sense to know when they can come in, when they shouldn't. Mm-hmm. That's the type of level of connection that I feel like that's what real friends are.
Yep.
And that's the hard part where people get confused, like, yo, this is my friend. Are they fucking really though?
Nope.
Like, are they really?
And people don't know how to filter people for you. Mm-hmm. Like, there's shit like, yeah, he's my friend. And then you think that they're vouching for them. And then you get fucked over by this friend of theirs. And you're like, what the fuck, man? And he goes, oh, well, I didn't know. It's like, you called him your friend, you fucker.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I remember this time where, so I was in Riverside. And I don't think people really understood what I meant by like, is this a homie or not, right? So it's like, there was this dude, his name is James, and James is a very, very rich fucking Chinese kid. Like, now he's like this rich Taiwanese kid, and this fool was just like an acquaintance friend, right? And what I told people when we were living in that apartment is like, when people come over, they have to be somebody that I know, and I want to. I gotta know them first.
Obviously, you don't want to bring everybody in your house.
Yeah, but fucking rich fucking kids,
they don't know shit.
Yeah, they just let anybody walk into their house.
I don't know why, and they're the ones that should be the most paranoid. I don't know why every single fucking like rich kid that I've known,
let them in.
The fuck. They'll let a fucking predator in their house and say, oh, he's cool.
Mm-hmm. And they'll be shocked when shit goes down.
Yeah.
And so I hated that fucking behavior. And there's like another story to that too. But this one, so this dude, number one, I said like, okay, one of my roommates basically let him into the apartment, right? And I don't really know the dude like that, which I don't really fucking like. And when he came in, I was like, cool. He goes, yo, can my homies come in? Is what somebody typically should ask before they come in. If you're already allowed in, you bringing some other people I don't know is not fucking allowed.
Yeah.
I don't know them. I don't know where they're at. I don't know who they associate with.
It's like a three-way fuckery.
Exactly. So he comes in, and this is like some shit where he comes in and he starts. I had a rule where I just didn't like the smell of fucking weed. I hated that smell. So I was like, because it stinks up the whole house. Like, smoke that shit somewhere else.
Yeah.
But that fool broke up a fucking Black and Mild, used the fucking wrap, and started smoking inside our place. And I came after class into the apartment to find this fool with a bunch of tobacco on the floor, on the table, and all three of these motherfuckers were smoking in my apartment.
Oh, fuck.
I didn't know two of them. And I just knew James.
Yeah.
And I looked at James. I was like, James, yo, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And he goes, nah, man, it's cool. It's cool.
Why is it cool?
I don't know. But he said that. And then I just went,
why is it cool?
It's not cool. But I guess this is how rich fucking kids work or some shit.
I don't know. If someone said, what the fuck? You have to answer them. You don't tell them that it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Like, that's going to diffuse it? That's only going to make me want to murder them.
Yeah, so I got really fucking angry. And here's the funny thing, too. So two of his homies are like his frat homies or whatever, right? And I literally looked at James.
I'll slap the fucking Greek letters off their shirt. What the fuck?
So these dudes are just sitting there. I was like, yo, you two got to get the fuck out of my apartment, right? And I was, James, let me talk to you real quick, right? I was like, yo, I don't even like you being in my apartment alone in the first place. Like, number two, because I didn't say it was cool. Like my other roommate said it was cool. you don't ever bring fucking random people in here. He goes, nah, man, you're tripping. It's cool. And I literally fucking grabbed him by his fucking pant belt and I flipped him and I slammed him on the floor. I was so fucking angry. And I started like choking this fool out on the floor.
You're tripping. It's cool. Why would you say that to someone?
And he just kept on making me angry. But this guy, James, is so fucking dumb and so high. I'm literally choking this fool out and I let him up, right? And he goes, whoa, chill.
It's already been done, you fucking idiot.
And he goes, David. I'm like, what's up, right? Pissed. And he goes, dude, my phone is dying, man. You got a charger? And I look it up like he's so fucking high.
Whoa, chill.
He doesn't know what's going on. He's like, do you have a charger? Because my phone is dying. And I immediately stopped getting angry because I just started laughing. I was like, your shit must be laced with something because you're so out of this fucking universe right now. You don't even realize that I just slammed you to the floor.
He didn't realize it.
He was like, he said, do you have a charger? My phone is dying.
Oh my
After
God.
I just slammed him and was choking him on the floor. It was so fucking, and these two other dudes that were in the frat pissed me off so much because they heard us, the commotion go in and they started coming in. And my other buddy, Rishi, he was like, you guys should step out because David's going to fucking murder you right now. Because they're like, oh shit. Because James already didn't get fucking socked in the face because I know him.
Yeah.
These two other people who I don't know that just started fucking smoking a blunt in my place, I would have stabbed them. I was so fucking mad. But that's just like, people are weird. It's like, you're not close enough to me to be doing this shit. Do you understand? Like, they don't understand that shit.
They probably treat it as a crack house. They're like, it's cool. Welcome to the crack house. You know?
I know. I think when I first moved to Riverside, like that was the first time I lived outside of my house. So I didn't have enough personal experience with other human beings to really learn how to control my temper when things wouldn't go my way.
Yeah.
You know, and I was living in a house with people who had all different walks of life, and albeit most of the people in that place, except for a couple of guys, this guy named Christian and this other dude named Tony, we had similar walks of life in terms of we weren't balling, you know, but a few of them were pretty fucking well off. And those are the ones I clash with all the time because we didn't have the same wavelength.
Yeah, we had a roommate who brought in one of his friends from the East Coast, and she went out to Ivy League. She grew up she was living in a super nice area, like the richest area of that place. And then when she was at Princeton, she told me that they would meet people at the coffee shop or whatever, and then they would carry that conversation to the house. Like they would bring this person that they met, like stranger, and then they would bring them to the like the frat house or whatever house that everybody was living in to introduce them to other people. So she thought it would be a great idea that she met someone at the spa and bring them over to our house.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So like, okay, so this is how it went down, right? That's the backstory. So I was talking to her, and we're just like, she was staying with us at the time, and she's like, yeah, my friend's gonna come over. You guys, I'm really excited for you to meet him. And I'm like, cool. What does he do? Oh, I think he's kind of like in between jobs right now, but he's like in entertainment. Like, so I think you'll like him because it's kind of like the same thing. And I'm like, oh, really? Yeah, but he doesn't have a car, so we have to go pick him up. And I went, wait.
What?
This is LA. He's in between jobs. He doesn't have a car. That sounds like a fucking loser to me.
Yeah.
And he's kind of in entertainment. That sounds like a wannabe.
Yeah.
Like everybody here is kind of in entertainment.
Yeah, everybody.
And that to me just is a guy who's just, he thinks he's a fucking singer or a rapper or actor or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Fucking loser. And then I was like, so how long you known this guy? Like, is he from the East Coast and he's visiting? And she's like, no. And I'm like, oh, like, where'd you meet him? Oh, at the spa like a week ago. We just been talking.
What the fuck?
And I'm like, nah, you ain't gonna go fucking get him. What are you talking about? Like, are you crazy? He goes, no, he's cool. He's my friend.
Your friend? You just met the motherfucker.
Exactly. So then like I told her like, you can't fucking do this shit, right? And when I made this realization, it kind of like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't fucking realize this. Like they're already on their way, and I called her and I was like, hey, you can't do this shit, right?
Yeah.
And then later that's when I found out why she thinks this way is because when she went to Princeton, I kind of told the story out of order, but when she, you know, she's like, well, I didn't think it'd be any like harm because she did that all the fucking time. Like they do that shit in those rich college towns. So I'm like, if I knew this when I was a criminal,
yeah, I would have
went to a coffee shop in Princeton, fucking made friends, walked into one of those fucking billionaire frat houses and robbed those fuckers dry.
Yeah, easy
and I'm
shit.
like, what the fuck? Are you guys kidding me, man? That's why. Is it that safe and sheltered? Am I the one that's kind of like a battered housewife here where I've been through some shit? You know what I mean? Like, I saw some shit. That's why I'm paranoid. Like, I'm not going to let these fuckers in my house.
Man, it's crazy. Even something as small as this, right? So
stealing all of my $200 worth of furniture. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have much to fucking take, but still, it's a violation.
Like fucking, like even Mariel too, when we were first dating, there was something small. Park a car, we leave, and she left her backpack in the front seat. And I was like, what are you doing? And she was like, it's cool. We're just going to go in for like 10 minutes. I was like, nope, always take your backpack. Because I'm used to people busting fucking windows and jacking bags out of cars.
It only takes 1 minute to do that.
Exactly. Not even just smash, grab, and you're gone. And then she was like, no, it's completely okay. Don't worry about it. I'm like, no, that makes me uncomfortable. Always take your bag with you, or if you're not, throw it in your trunk. Because if people see your shit, that means they could take it. And I think for her, it was hard pressed because she grew up in like the Chino Hills Diamond Bar area.
She thinks that the window would protect it. She's like, it's locked. She's like, there's no way in. She's so fucking innocent.
Yeah,
dude. Don't worry, I locked the door. Okay. Oh, great. Well, there's no way no one's gonna get in now.
A lot of people that in that area that she grew up with had that similar mentality. They don't think of like these negative shit that could happen.
Well, I would love to live in their world.
That's what I'm saying. I think we stayed in the wrong area.
Fuck, dude.
We should have just went over into that area and then done what we normally do, and it would have been okay, and they wouldn't have known any fucking better. God. It was so weird, man. It's just like the upbringing is so different. Even when there was this one time, Mariel and I went to the beach, and when we were going back to the car, it was the sun was already setting. When I was walking up, I saw two dudes huddled next to my car. It was a Tesla at the time, and they were huddled next to it doing some shit. And the first thing I do, I walk up and I literally push Mariel aside, and I walk up. I'm like, "Yo, what's up?" And then these kids, "Oh, I'm so sorry." So they were changing their clothes in between our cars because they're going to the beach.
Oh.
And then Mariel was like, "Well," she was like, "Why did you yell at them like that?" I was like, "Well, where I grew up, if somebody's huddled next to my car, they're trying to jack in. They're breaking in. They're trying to jack it." And she goes, "I can't believe you would think like they would ever do something like that." And I was like,
was she thinking like you were treating them a certain way because of the color of their skin?
Well, they were some white boys, but she thought that I was being hyper aggressive. But what I was trying to explain to her is that this usually meant my shit's going to get jacked because my car's been broken into a couple times.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah.
And it was just weird. And I kind of felt bad because I kind of like squared up on them. I'm not like a scary looking dude, but then, I was like fucking getting ready to like protect my fucking car.
Yeah.
And I think for her, she wasn't used to growing up like that.
Yeah.
So for her, she just sees me being hyper aggressive.
She's like, you're overreacting.
Yeah, a little bit. She thought I was overreacting, but in my mind, I wasn't because I thought somebody was going to steal my car. Yeah. It's weird though when people grow up differently, just like that lens and that perspective.
Yeah, for me, I think I've always got along with people that grew up similar in class than race. I get along more with white, black, Mexican that are like lower middle class or whatever than I do with Asians that are high class.
Yeah, we have nothing to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the culture and food, the upbringing is different. Like, so when people we always talk about race and we always talk about like in Asian culture and this and that, but I think a bigger thing that connects us all is like class culture, because I had a lot of similarities with Jess because of that, even though she's white and stuff. I mean, she is, and Aaron, he's white, and like even Steve, and like we all kind of have a similar background in class, right? Like we're either middle or lower to middle class, and we never really grew up like a lot of our rich friends. So some of our rich friends we'll be friends with, but there's a little bit that's different if you've noticed.
Yeah.
But then as you grow up, you start becoming more worldly, right? So you could connect with more people, and it there is something to me that there's just a different kind of human being that's created, especially like if you never had to worry about money or safety.
This podcast is brought to you by Skillshare, my friends. I like to learn. I like to learn when I want to learn. And if only there was a place where there was a library full of thousands of videos that will help me brush up on my hobbies or maybe even some new entrepreneurial skills on my free time. Well, guess what there is? It's called Skillshare, my friends. Let me tell you a little bit about Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of amazing classes covering dozens of creative and entrepreneurial skills. You can take classes in everything from photography, creative writing, design, productivity, and a whole bunch more. This is just to name a few. So whether you're returning to a longtime passion project, challenging yourself to get outside your comfort zone, or simply exploring something new, Skillshare has the classes for you. You guys know me, I'm a photo guy, and you can't do photo without a little bit of basic knowledge and foundation, man. Adobe Photoshop and all these other programs actually require you to know these things because these programs are not intuitive at all. And I want to know specific things, and I could pick and choose from certain courses so I can just go right to it. So Skillshare has thousands and hundreds of classes that are basically at the end of my fingertips. I could just click away, get on the website, and then look for whatever I want to learn. And Skillshare has got my back. So check it out. Join the millions of students already learning on Skillshare today with a special offer just for my listeners. Get 2 months of Skillshare for free. That's right. Skillshare is offering GeniusBrain listeners 2 months of unlimited access to thousands of classes for free. To sign up, go to Skillshare.com/brain. Again, go to Skillshare.com/brain to start your 2 months now. That's Skillshare.com/brain.
It's a different world.
I just came back from a wedding, and this only reminded me of like how certain people who live in one area in their whole life, and they grow up well off, they kind of just say shit without thinking about repercussions a lot, because I felt like when we grew up, if we said something out loud in public, we knew that if we were like dissing somebody, or if we had like a hardcore opinion about somebody else, there's a chance that you could get like slapped up for it. So
right, because there's violence involved. Like you offend the wrong person, like you might go through some real crazy violence.
Yeah. And then Mariel and I went to a wedding not too long ago where I'm not sure if they're really her close friends. Actually, they're not her really close friends, but they kind of know each other from in the past, and they kind of reconnected at the wedding. And I think she realized how different she grew apart from them just based on the subject matter of what they talk about, who they talk about, and how they talk about certain things. So they kind of grew up with just only Korean people, right? And so the way they say certain things about other races, it's so common to like bash on other races, and it's like lighthearted jokes, but to me it's not lighthearted because I grew up in such a multicultural area. Like for example, one of them, and I got really quiet, and I was like, man, I was going to say something, but I'm like, this is a wedding, and whatever, this person's not somebody I care about, so I'm just going to let it slide. But she just said something like really racially insensitive, where she was like, oh yeah, like I remember this guy that I used to date, like, yeah, I was really in love with him, but yeah, now he's dating like some ratchet girl, he's like, you know those Vietnamese people. And I was like, the fuck? And the first thing, I grew up around a lot of Vietnamese people, so I kind of like, my ears perked up, and I kind of looked over like, the fuck did you just say? Like it was like, there's, we make jokes about like, how Asian people hate other Asian races, and it's based in that comedy world. But she said it as a matter of fact, like Vietnamese people were lower than her. And I kind of like looked at her like, the fuck, bitch? You know what I mean? Like, I'm Korean, but you don't know how I grew up.
Yeah.
You don't fucking watch your fucking mouth. And I just kind of sat there for the rest of the wedding. I just had my phone out. I was playing games because like,
fuck these people.
Yeah, I was like, I can't listen to this fucking ignorant bullshit. And it was hard for me because this is definitely a matter of people who grew up only around their kind, their thoughts, their philosophies, and they're very close-minded human beings.
And they're the same type of people that would scream racism if someone did that to them.
Exactly. And I just like sat there, and it was kind of like stewing inside me a little bit, but it wasn't my wedding. It wasn't my scenario, and I'm not going to ruin somebody's wedding and make a scene.
Yeah,
so.
That's only correct if you say it in front of a Vietnamese person.
Yeah. So those ratchet ass Vietnamese people, they're like, man, no, man, I know what you're talking about, man.
I know, man. It's only funny when you're doing it as a joke and you don't really mean it.
Yeah, and she meant it.
That's fucked up, because that's the thing, man. It's like, I love making fun of how shitty like different cultures are.
Yeah.
But so is my culture. And I don't even, but that's the joke and that's the fun part. You're saying things that you're not supposed to say. But when you really mean it and you really think that other human beings are below you, that's such a low way to think.
And that's where it stemmed from. There wasn't any nuance. It wasn't really a joke. It was just like, these Vietnamese people are lower than me. I'm like, ratchet, dude. Fucking Korean people are ratchet as fuck. Have you been to K-Town? What are you talking about, dude? What the fuck are you saying?
She acts like Koreans are super proper.
We have something called Tommy girls, which are fucking escorts that's normalized in our culture, where they just walk around sucking dick all day. What the fuck are you talking about, dude?
It's so funny.
Like, I'm not hating on my culture. I'm just saying, like, every culture has their negative thing.
Every culture has ratchet.
Yeah, everybody does.
There is no culture that is completely classy and completely like rich and like there's none of that shit.
Yeah, that the remark came from just it was like her truth. It didn't feel very much like she was making a side comment or joke. It was just like a truth thing. It's like, oh, that Vietnamese people are only like this. It's like,
I know a lot of Vietnamese people that are very classy and very wealthy.
They are in Vietnam right now, dude, killing it.
I know, right? But that's kind of hard for me to digest too, like, especially because I have so much love for that culture, or just I know a lot, so it almost feels like an offense to me personally if I hear shit like that, like, and it's legit.
Yeah.
Like if someone says it, because that's the same thing as if a white person were saying it to a black person or whatever. It doesn't make it less because it's Asian on Asian.
Yeah, exactly. And it's when we, you would do this character where you're just like the Korean character that's making fun of other Asian races. Yeah. That's a nuanced joke because of how superior Asian people feel compared to other Asian races.
I'm making fun of all the old Asian men that are just blatantly racist, but they don't realize how fucking dumb they are.
Yeah.
Because they're really just the trash of that race. So they think that way. But you got to understand that to get it. Like, a lot of these people, they're probably lowest on the totem pole in their culture. So to overcompensate for being such a fucking lowlife, they have to talk shit about other races.
Yeah.
Because the classiest of the classiest, they're not fucking even doing that. They're too busy making money and doing crazy shit,
Yeah, for facts too, like a lot of the Vietnamese homies that I grew up around, or I still have to this day, there's some paranormal ratchetivity going on, as I say. You know what I mean?
But that's what makes it so fun.
That's the fun shit. Yo, if you've never been to a fucking Vietnamese wedding, you are missing the fuck out, dude. That shit is the funnest wedding to ever go to.
And like, I don't know, I think ghetto or ratchet or just all that stuff is perspective, right? Because there's something about the Southeast Asian culture that I love, very different from the East Asian culture. I feel like we need to learn how to fucking loosen up. Talking about East Asians, right? Japanese, Koreans, Chinese. Yes, we party and we fucking binge drink and whatever. But I feel like we have a lot to learn from Southeast Asians and just enjoying life and not being so tense and not being so fucking serious.
There's a lot of saving face, in our culture.
It's very political.
Like Korean and Japanese, it's so much ingrained into our culture. It's so hard to be yourself because you're thinking about what somebody else thinks about you all the fucking time.
You're almost like living for rules more than just living.
Dude, let me tell you this fucking funny shit. At that same wedding, Mary and I were sitting down, and this older Korean gentleman that knew the younger girl next to us from like at church from way before when she was maybe he hasn't seen her maybe in a few years. I'm only guessing because the first thing he does when he sees her, he says this. He goes in Korean. He goes, "Whoa, you gained a lot of weight." Like right off the fucking jump, dude. Damn. It's so fucking funny in Korean culture that looking at somebody and making a judgment about how they look is completely normalized.
Yeah.
I mean, a part of me feels like
Japanese too, man.
Yeah. It's just, she goes, "Oh, 너 살쪘네?" Which means like, "Oh, you got a little fat, didn't you?"
They'll say that shit all day.
Which I was like, I started cracking up only because, from now I'm Korean American. From looking at that from an American perspective, I think
it's so hurtful.
It'd be very hurtful. But
you
in Korean culture, it's kind of like, "Oh yeah, I did gain some weight." It's like, "Ah, you're right. And I'm trying to lose some weight." They're like, but
you plumped up.
Yeah, but making comments about your physical looks in Asian culture, it's pretty normalized. I don't know what that feels to somebody if it hurts them a lot. Because if somebody looks at me and says like, "Oh, you gained some weight," it doesn't hurt my feelings.
Because you heard it so much, or
yeah, maybe. I just never really felt a certain way about it because if I did gain weight, to me it's just facts. It's like
same here.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're right, I did gain some weight.
And then I don't know if it's the same in Korean, but they say it in such a cute way, like the way that they tease you and whatever. I feel like it's adorable.
Yeah,
when, especially old ladies too. When they fucking come at you and they'll be like, "Oh, you got fat."
Yeah,
you know,
they're not disgusted. That's why it's almost like a conversation topic. It's like the immediate go-to.
Yeah,
one of the biggest Korean compliments that you can ever get is, "Oh, 너 얼굴이 왜 이렇게 조그매?" Which basically means like, "Oh, why is your face so small?" It's like you're having a small face is like the biggest fucking beauty compliment you can ever get on earth. It's like, "Oh, my face is small." Wow, like Chia. Tim's fucking wife, her face is like a tiny almond. You know what I mean? In Korea,
it's like a perfect almond face.
In Korea, she's considered the standard of what beauty is.
Really?
Yeah, because her face is like the size of a fucking pinky nail. You know what I mean? Like I could literally cover all Chia's face with my thumb if I wanted to.
No, I mean, they'll comment on all body types, right? They'll be like, "Oh, you got muscles. Oh, you tall. Yeah, look at you. You're fucking small." You know, like they'll.
Yeah. It's just like the thing for us.
Yeah, that is a funny observation.
Yeah, right. They always have to make a physical observation about you, and that's like the beginning of their conversation if they haven't seen you in a long time. Yeah,
because if I get fit, they'll say that too. Yeah. They'll be like, "Oh shit, you've been working out, man. Good for you," you know? Yeah. And they're like, "Hey, you've been getting fat. You've been eating good." Yeah, like, they'll say that too.
My dad did that once too. There's this kid that I used to know in Sacramento. I was one of his first Korean friends here. Funny shit, because when he came from Korea to here, I can't remember what age that I met him, but I'm thinking it was freshman year of high school. And my dad is such a fucking savage because his older sister dressed like a tomboy all the time. Like she used to wear those baggy ass Jinko jeans, baggy ass t-shirts. Back in the day with Korean girls, it was super popular in Korea, like dressing like a boy and shit in the baggy clothes. So my dad fucking comes up to this girl, right? And there's like, he hasn't seen her like in a few weeks or a month or whatever. He looks at her straight up. He goes, "You got pretty fat." She just looks at him and storms off and goes into her room. Super mad. I just looked at my dad. I was like, "Why did you say that?" Right? And he goes, "Cause she got fat. What's the problem?" Like, he doesn't get what the fucking problem is, dude. And it's just making that physical observation was just something that Korean people always do.
Damn.
He goes, "You got really fucking fat, dude." He just said, "You got fat."
Did she gain weight though?
She got fat.
I thought it was the baggy clothes.
Oh yeah, I think she wore baggy clothes because maybe she
to hide it,
to hide her.
Oh man,
bigger appearance.
That's fucked up.
She wasn't ugly or anything either. She was. I think she was like pretty decent looking. It's just that she wasn't very like. She didn't dress very feminine.
But I also feel like their generation, they weren't so fat, like ashamed of their fat.
Yeah.
Like, because my uncle told me like back then, like, they liked slender women, but they feel like our generation is way more body, what's the word? Like, obsessed. Like for them, they're like, there's like a lot of the girls now I find completely beautiful, but the guys today don't even think so. So that's one. And then another thing is the guy's body type. Like they're like the ideal man was someone who kind of had a pot belly or just had some thickness to them. And he was like, it was a different time. And then I was asking them, my aunt and the ladies of that generation, they're like, we didn't want that, obviously. But the guys, was cool for the guys to look that way. So I'm like, really?
I don't know.
So for the guys, they wanted to be like a little bit pot belly and a little bit meaty, right? And that was being a man, that was cool. You don't want to be a skinny boy. But then the girls actually like the skinny guys.
Beauty standards are so fucking different, dude. Even like all our homies, when we talk about what we like, I feel like you and I have very similar tastes in what we find attractive, right? More curvy women. I think that's just what we grew up seeing.
Athletic,
athletic, curvy women. Yeah. And then, you know, like some other Asian people, they like the girls with the thigh gap, super thin. They look like they haven't eaten in 6 days.
That's different, yeah.
Yeah, and they get fucking a hard on looking at these girls with fucking like 12-year-old boy chest.
I need curves, man.
Yeah, and they're like, damn, that
even if they're small, they have to have curves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not, to each their fucking own. That's not really my thing, but I can't really wrap my head around that. But they can't.
That's their style.
Yeah, they can't even wrap their head around, who I think is really pretty. Well, one of our friends too. I remember we were talking about it where he was like, "Oh, who do you think out of your homegirls is really pretty?" I was like, "I think Gio is fucking really, really pretty, right?" Out of the homegirls, this guy specifically was like, "I don't really think she's that pretty." I'm like, "What? In what sense?" Right? She goes, "She's just like too big." I was like, "Too big? She's fucking athletic." But
for them,
yeah. And then when I told him to show me photos of what he finds attractive, he likes the Asian girls that look like little 10-year-old boys. Like that's his thing. Like he likes the super skinny. They're very pretty in the face, but he likes them really tiny and small. I'm like, well, that's why you don't think she's a very pretty girl. It's because she's, an actual human being. Like she's the size of a regular person. Yeah. But then I was like, oh, this is just some different shit. Like everybody has like their own flavor.
Yeah, that's true. Like for me too, I think I have very interesting beauty standards because like me and Nikki are kind of similar in a way. There was a name for it, but Nikki thinks human beings are kind of blobs until someone makes her laugh, right? So for me, there's beautiful, like aesthetically, like models, you take photos of them or whatever, and then there's art, right? And then there's sexual, like physical sexual, like girls that do the fucking TNA modeling, big ass, big titties, like that to me is just the porn realm. And then you have girls that you actually find attractive and you desire, but that takes personality to kind of turn on for me. And so I can have someone that isn't really that good looking, but because I'm into them, like I think I've heard this a lot from women too. I'm like, maybe I think like a fucking woman, but like that is something that I'm like, boom, I want you. And I don't give a fuck if you look ugly to other people, you look good to me. So
you know what
weird.
It also is too, I think, that comes with like time and age, because once you've had this very simple form of attraction, which is just you look good, I want to fuck you.
Yeah,
you're always trying to look for that a different high that's way better than that.
And it's to me like it goes away.
Oh, very fast.
As soon as you get laid, as soon as the magic is gone, as soon as you start to realize their personality, then you move on to the next.
Yeah.
After a while, you get desensitized to the beauty.
Yeah.
So, for example, and it takes time though, because I'm 35 now. So like it took years for me to be desensitized to beauty. And it's only because I got laid by beautiful girls. If I never did, I don't think I'd be desensitized. And on top of that,
for sure.
It's like once you buy a luxury car that you can, and then you can afford another one, and you can buy as many cars as you want, and then you get kind of bored of it unless you're Jay Leno and you're really fucking into cars, right? But for most people, I feel like there is a point of overstimulation, and then you have to go for something else. So it's the same thing with abusing sex. It's the same with abusing drugs. I think like just looking at women that way, it turns into this, it's an abusive behavior of just looking at eye candy, basically. And there's got to be a point where you go and grow past that. But I think for a lot of young men, they get stuck in that, and sometimes forever, because most guys don't get the chance of exploring past that. And I think for women, it's different because they stand around and they get to choose. Like I say, a beautiful girl experiences what a famous influencer gets to experience.
Yeah.
They get pursued. They have choices. They have multiple choices. So they could sit back and be like, all right. And if they wanted to, they get to experience the whole, like, let's use these good looking guys and let's hoe it up real quick and see if it's worth it.
Yeah, that pretty person thing gets worn out super fast. There's a story where when I was in college, there's this one girl within the dorm, every fucking guy fawned over this chick. Like, loved her to fucking death. Not because her personality was dope, not because of anything else. They just thought that she was fucking hot as hell. Personally, didn't think that she was that attractive, but to them, she was like a cheerleader, very fit. She was like half Chinese, half white. I think she was a little cross-eyed. Maybe that's why I didn't really like her. But
they're thinking about other things with those cross-eyed eyes.
Exactly, dude. They're thinking if they could stick their dick in their mouth, they would probably straighten it out or something. But being a pretty person too, I think that the lens of what a pretty person sees, it's so different from everybody else too.
Especially because she's cross-eyed.
Yeah. She didn't know what the fuck she was looking at. But this girl, it's not that I didn't like her. It's just we didn't vibe very well because I think she kind of predicated her personality on her looks. Like she didn't really have much to offer or talk about aside from things about herself. It was very narcissistic, right? And I didn't really blame her for that. I kind of blamed it on all the guys around her. So when she would walk into the dorm, every fucking guy would act like as if they were on an island and they haven't seen pussy in years. They would walk, "Oh, how's your day doing? What are you doing today?" They would try to make her laugh, or she would say something not funny at all, and they're just cracking the fuck up. And I was just like, the fuck? Like, the bitch ain't even that fine. And even if she was, she's not saying anything. And so when I would walk by her, I would just be like, hey, just give her a hi and a wave, right? And then I would just move by. I would say hi. And then one day, we're all chilling in the dorm, and we're all talking, and then she asked to talk to me, and she takes me aside. I'm like, what's up? And I'm like, what's up? She goes, how come you don't like me? And I'm like, what? What do you mean I don't like you?
That's how guys actually get hot girls.
She goes, I could tell you don't like me. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she goes like, you don't really talk to me. You don't like start up a conversation with me. Like, what's wrong with me? And I'm like, yo, nothing's wrong with you. Like, I say hi to you every time I see you. Right? She goes, yeah, but it's different. I could tell like you have like an attitude. I'm like, listen, at that point, because I had a girlfriend at the time who I was madly in love with. Yeah. So I looked at her, I'm like, I'll be real with you, right? And she never really talked to me after this. I was like, I'll be real with you. Like, I don't know why you think you're so fucking special. Like, I'm just chilling. Like, I'm just saying hi. Like, I know these other dudes, when they come up to you, they're all like fawning over you and you're used to that attention. I don't care about you like that. I don't know you like that.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to say hi to you. Like, if you want to get to know me and we could be friends, yeah, let's do that.
So she took you as being standoffish and bad behavior because she has a different standard of how guys treat her.
Exactly.
So when someone wasn't in love with her, you're right, it's their fault because
it's not her fault.
Because they're actually friend zoning themselves. Mm-hmm. She thinks, oh, these guys are so nice and so cool. We're all friends, not knowing that they all want to fuck the shit out of her.
Of course.
And then if you ask her, she'll be like, "No, we're friends. No way," you know? And then she sees you. This asshole doesn't want to be my friend.
Yeah. And like I said before, I don't even blame her. I blame all those fucking guys drooling over her for setting the standard of what a normal human interaction is.
You know, you fell upon a technique, though, that many people do not know until they accidentally get there.
Which is what?
That girl came up to you because you made her self-conscious. And that's how you get hot girls.
I already had like this girl I was in love with, so at that point,
I know, but that's what a lot of dudes fuck up on is
they're so thirsty.
They're so fucking desperate, dude.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, you don't have to be a dick. Just center yourself.
Yeah.
And then an insecure, you'll fucking make her insecure because you're not fucking doing what the other guy's doing.
And you know what I think too, which kind of hurt her feelings the most is that.
You have to say like you're so fucking special though. Fuck that.
Well, because I was already irritated. It's like you're not special like that.
Yeah,
like
I don't. In college.
I was like, I don't know. And you think I'm harsh now? 18-year-old David was way worse.
Yeah.
Like I didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? So now I'm like, you're not that special. Like I already said all that shit. But when I look back at it, the reason why I think I was also upset was because I think she thought fat, chubby Asian dweeby guy should be drooling over me. So why is this guy who is like geeky and fat and weird looking isn't drooling over me? What's wrong with me? And that already irritated me. It's like, bitch, I don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't fucking... At the time, I was madly in love with my 18-year-old girlfriend. I was 18 and we were in love. You were just a fucking blip in the radar to me. So it didn't fucking matter, you know? And I think it's because her shit was hurt because, oh, this guy clearly he's gonna be drooling over me.
Yeah.
And I didn't like her thinking that she could have that power over me because you don't. I don't give a fuck. I never really have. Even the first girlfriend that I was with, I didn't really like her because she was the prettiest girl in the school. I liked her because of how she made me feel. You know, she made me feel.
That's so advanced. You're so emotionally intelligent.
I grew up talking to my mom all the time. That's just the shit that I like.
Oh, and you grew up in that hair salon.
And that nail salon. I was around
a lot of girl talk.
Hell yeah, I was around women my whole fucking life, dude. And
I was too, but
you were in them.
funny.
You were inside that. That's the difference.
The women I was around were not. I think they're different, man. Like they didn't do the gossiping, girl talk, all that stuff. My mom fucking hated gossip. My grandma was highly intelligent. She was more like a dude, always wanting to debate and talk about intellectual shit. And my mom was just working and very like to herself. And if she goes hang out with her friends and I'm around, like they're talking about worldly shit. So I didn't think that I didn't have maybe a good example of like what most women are like, you know, because of the women in my family were different. Yeah. And they didn't show that side to the kids, which I found out later. They did do it, but they compartmentalized what they did. Whereas in other families, that shit just went out.
Yeah.
You saw mom fucking, doing this, losing her composure, doing whatever, like having her period days, whatever. They saw the natural forms of what a woman does. Whereas my house, they kept it separate. They're like, don't bother the kids, don't bother the husband.
Yeah, man. Like I think I've always liked the emotional connection because the first time I lost my virginity was with the girl that I had been chasing in high school for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So I think like that type of sex that I had, which by the way was terrible sex. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. She didn't know what the fuck she was doing. That shit sucked. That shit was like Mormon fucking fuck through a blanket type of sex, and like you know what I mean, like the religious, very strict, like fucking to like make a child type of sex. Just very boring because I didn't know what I was doing. But because of that emotional connection that I had with her, I think that was the type of high that I was always looking for when it came to sex. Because after her, when I was just like, you know what, dude? Like you keep trying to look for love. You just need to just date as much girls as you can for number one, for stand-up experience. So you have stories to talk about.
Yeah.
But two, just start fucking. Just try it out. See what happens. And what I found out too was that, it was very hard for me to get women. I had to use my mouthpiece like a motherfucker. But when I would hook up with these girls, it was like, oh man, it's not that good.
But girls are so nice and forgiving though, compared to guys.
Oh, for sure.
When it comes to looks and all that.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, looks is what draws them in first. But they're so fucking nice, man. When you think about it, the kind of shit that good-looking guys will not really do it with with a not so good-looking girl.
Yeah,
you know what
true.
I mean? Like
it's a lot more shallow.
Yeah, guys are much more shallow when it comes to looks. Yeah,
because I think like especially like the girls that I hooked up with, I think that when we made like a good emotional connection, after that it was just it was are they gonna let me or not? Yeah. And after a while they're having a good time. They're like, all right, let's fuck.
Yeah,
and it was cool. Cool for me. I don't know about her, but it would happen. And I remember too, when I was younger, I used to think that, a lot of my better looking guy friends, they would always tell these stories about, I bagged this chick, but they would never tell the stories about how many times they tried that night and failed. And so I used to think that these dudes
got it like that
all the time. And then I remember I went clubbing.
And you saw them talking to this one, talking to that one, talking to this one, talking to that one.
Right, because I didn't really like going clubbing. But when I was like, fuck it, after my first girlfriend and we separated, I was like, you know what? Let me hit this club scene and see what's up. And then I just saw them fucking bomb left and right. I'm like, oh, you're not getting fucking pussy because it just falls in your lap. You try, you swing like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
And then you see what happens. And that was the biggest learning moment for me. I'm like, oh, I just got to keep swinging and trying and then see what'll happen.
Yeah.
And that I think that was like a really good lesson for me. It's like, a lot of dudes are just full of shit.
Yeah. Big time. Yeah. And a lot of guys, I think, they're more putting on a show for the rest of us.
Oh, for sure.
Because I'm like, they probably like the wow more than they actually like fucking the girls. And I'm like, what are you doing that for?
They like putting the getting the fucking notch on the pegboard or whatever.
I was the opposite, man. I was ashamed of being such a pervert.
It's in your blood, fool. You're Japanese, dude.
I know, but I thought with my dick so fucking much, and then I fell in love. Without knowing, I was fucking my girlfriend for a whole entire year, and then she's like, I don't know, like I want more out of this relationship, and she leaves me. I'm like, man, fuck that shit. I could get a new pussy anyway, and I fucking cried for a year, man, for a straight year. I didn't even realize that that's how emotionally disconnected I was. Because every time I saw her, the only way I knew how to express myself was through sex.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to be anything but that. And this is a ongoing thing for the rest of my life, is just I only know how to fuck.
Yeah.
And that's the only way I physically connected emotionally or whatever. I didn't say anything. I didn't express it in any other way. So for me, I was just a barbarian. It's like, oh, I want her. And my life was ruled by my dick. Everywhere I went, I'm gonna fuck her. I want to fuck her. You know, like I don't care. Like I didn't think about if we matched or anything. I was just thinking if my dick matched her pussy.
That's so fucking funny, man. But I feel most guys are like you, though. I think most guys are. I think I just was.
You just go, oh, she looks good. Oh my god, that ass! I can't stop thinking about that ass. You know.
I was just a hopeless romantic, dude. I like that shit.
I think I was too until I had trouble understanding girls in that sense, and I got my heart broken, and I was like, man, I don't even want to deal with this shit. And also, when you're young and girls are young too, and everyone's young and trying to learn about themselves, and no one knows what the fuck is going on. And then I build trust issues because you go, I can't trust what these hoes say.
My fucking pimp heart breaks because these hoes always be lying to me.
My fucking 15-year-old self. I can't trust these hoes no more. She said she loved me, but she didn't. You know?
Damn. So when you kind of experienced like your heartache, you couldn't really figure out what was going on with you then, huh? Like you were just it's just like, oh, what? Fuck this pain.
Yeah. I was like 17, fucking crying like a little bitch. In my head, she left out of nowhere. But looking back, there were plenty of warning signs that she was not feeling the relationship. Here I am, drunk in sex, and not knowing that I loved this girl.
Yeah.
We were fucking every week. You know, you got that 17-year-old boner that needs to be handled. You're not even fucking right. You fucking for like a minute every 15 minutes, whatever, just chilling at home, fucking all the time, doing nothing. You're just in bliss, right? And then obviously girls are more emotionally mature than boys are, so they want more out of it. They want to think about a future. Where is this going?
Yeah.
Are we gonna, be together through college? All these 15 years old. I'm not thinking that. I'm thinking, are you coming over next week again so we can fuck?
Yeah.
And then so that we're going and we're together for a year, doing the same shit, just fucking everywhere. Drugs together, theme parks together. I'm having a blast. And then she wants out, right? So she leaves and it hit me. And I'm like, whoa, that shit fucking hurts. Like, especially because it's abrupt. Like, kids do not know how to talk shit out. Mm-hmm. They make decisions in their head and then they fucking just go. There's no discussion after either.
Yeah.
They just leave. It's fucking hurtful, right? Because it caught me out of nowhere. I'm 17, 16 years old, crying like a little bitch while I'm in a gang, trying to pretend that I don't have feelings.
This was fucking sea walking and crying up. Oh shit, motherfucker.
I would cry my eyes out, and my friend's like, hey man, we're gonna go fucking race cars. You wanna go? And I'm like, yeah, I need people right now. Fuck. And then they come over. But I don't say that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm crying my eyes out like, fucking. Man, I got like borderline stalker too. I was like, I would call and then I would
Baby, please.
And then I would leave a message and she wouldn't call me back, right? So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna show her how I really feel. And I got her song and shit. I would play the song on the fucking phone so she would know how I really fucking feel.
You're romantic, bro.
I was like, I need you back in my fucking life. Don't you see this shit? And then so I'm like, fuck this shit. And then now I know why kids do crazy shit like kill themselves and all that after a breakup. Because I was hurt, bro. I was suicidal.
Emotionally volatile, dude.
I was, man. So my friends come over and then they know what went on, right? So I'm all like, I had to fucking pretend that I wasn't crying all day, right? Because I'm a tough boy. And then they come over. We're going to go race cars and shit. We jump in the car. They actually were as thug as we were. They were very supportive, man. They were like, yeah, it's cool, man. Like, it's cool. Let's talk about it. Like, whatever. They're like, yo, shit happens, man. They immediately try to hook me up with another girl, get me laid, all this stuff. Like, they were my boys, dude. And all I want to do was her. And we're about to go on the freeway and race. And then I remember they turned and it was getting too close to her neighborhood. And I was like, I can't do this. Like, we're getting too close.
I was like, dog, you were so fucking hurt. Anything about it, you're just like, no, I can't do it, man.
No, I told him, like, can we take another route? Like, fuck. And then they're like, what's going on? It was like, we can't go this way, man. She lives out here, man. So they were smoking weed. I was like, give me that fucking joint. And I'm all taking a fucking hit. I'm not giving that joint back. I was like, turn. And then it was so funny because I treated her street and her neighborhood as if the closer I was getting, the more I was dying. I was so fucking dramatic, dude.
Like, it was a fucking radioactive, like, spill.
Yeah. I was like, we gotta get out of here, man. It's like fucking Fortnite and shit. Like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. And then the homies were so dope that they fucking busted a U-turn in the middle of the street.
It's fucking killing it, man.
Yeah.
Fucking, let's do this U-turn, fucking it.
Like, they got away like we just robbed a bank.
That's fucking funny, man.
And then we took a longer route to the freeway.
Well, how did you get over then?
Man, I didn't know how. Like, it would hit me out of nowhere for about a year straight. Like, out of nowhere, my heart would just start aching. I'm like, oh, I couldn't go to school. I couldn't do like regular gang shit anymore. My heart was so broken. They're like, hey, man, you want to go jump some fools? And I'm like, no. Isn't that funny? I couldn't do regular gang, man. That's how stupid it was back then. It's like, hey, man, I know what to cheer you up. Let's go shoot people. No, that's so fucking fun. But you know what I mean? Like,
I could just picture them like, hey, man, you want to go graffiti this place up?
Yeah.
It's like, I already did. I wrote her name 17 times on it. You know, the thing is, like, if, you know, there's people out there who have never had their heart broken before and they just got to be with one person. I tell this to Mariel. I was like, you've never had your heart broken before.
She never?
And you never will, because I'm not going to leave her. I was like, you'll never have your heart broken. You're fucking lucky.
Oh, because getting your heart broken is a fucking bitch.
I would never wish that upon my worst enemy, because it's like, how I used to describe it was, it felt like my heart sank into the middle of my stomach and my stomach would turn.
And it's young heartbreak.
Yeah, you
young
just feel like you're never gonna get out of it.
Intense, bro. Yeah. That shit's intense.
That's why I know every Brian McKnight song, dude. It's because I used to fucking make these mixtapes, and I would just listen to that shit in my car, and then I remember I would just be in my room crying my eyes out, dude, nonstop. When I got dumped, I went into this part. I told my best friend at the time. I told him we were sitting on top of his fucking hoopty ass Nissan Sentra eating this burger. And I just started crying into this fucking Wendy's double cheeseburger. I was like, oh, I just remember I couldn't taste it because I was crying so much. I was like, she fucking broke my heart, man. Like, what? You're eating a double cheeseburger in this parking lot.
And your snot's getting into the cheese. That's disgusting.
And then I took his Brian McKnight mix CD and I just started playing that shit nonstop over and over and over.
The music, man. The R&B helped me out so much.
Dude, man, I know all of those lyrics because of that first fucking heartbreak.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because that heartbreak lasted a while, because I think I was trying to get back with her just like in your case. But for me, it was like for a whole year, because she was my best friend as well.
Oh, so you were able to talk to her? We were friends and we were kind of talking to her once in a while. Yeah. But we had to end it. I was getting too obsessed, man.
Same here. Like, it was just like, I kept on hoping that something was going to happen from this.
Yeah, and girls are so sweet that they'll never tell you straight up.
Yeah.
And guys are so stupid, will take that as a hope.
Yeah.
You know, like, girls will be like, well, maybe we can stay friends. And in my head, I'm like, there's a chance. I just got to be better. She just wants me to be a better man and I can fucking get her back.
Yeah, it just never worked out. And, you know, even looking back at it now, there were signs that she wanted to leave, you know, that it wasn't working out. And even for me too, I knew that we weren't working out, but I just was trying to force something that wasn't there, you know?
For me, that ass was good, man.
We had a long distance relationship, and because I was at UCR and then she was in Davis.
Oh, that's tough.
And so, you know, we would see each other every now and then, and I would, you know, take the train to her, she would take the train to me. And I look back at it now, if she didn't dump me and we didn't break up, I think that was my biggest growth experience, was the fact that she left me. Because from then on, I got to really look at a mirror and say like, bro, you're a fucking loser.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much of a loser I was.
I didn't think I was a loser though.
There was this time.
That's crazy. But I mean, you were older because you were in college, right?
Oh yeah, I was in college.
So this went down when I was 16.
Damn, dude, I was a fucking old loser. So
I didn't have the thoughts to help me realize a lot of shit.
Yeah, it was difficult. It took me like a year afterwards where I was still in love with her, and I was still trying to be like friends with her. But then there was a point where I remember I stopped being in love with her, and it was this time where I was trying to play it cool, like, you know, be a really funny guy and try to be a good friend to her, and just kind of act like I didn't care about her that way. And I was just acting out, doing dumb shit because I did a lot of stupid shit, you know. And she just looked at me one day. She goes, "You know what? You're really fucking annoying." And she's never said that to me before. And I was like, "What? What do you mean I'm annoying?"
Mean.
And she was like, "You're annoying me." And I'm like, "Oh," and that shit fucking hurt me. And I was like, "Damn."
That's before your breakup. And
This is after our breakup, so a year after. And I was like, she's never called me annoying before. This is the first time I annoyed her. And I remember I stopped and I went home and I was pissed a little bit because she kind of said that fucked up shit to me. But at the same time, I was like, "Oh, you are annoying, dude." I was like, "What's wrong with you?"
Because you were too obsessive on her?
I was obsessed. I was like, "What are you obsessed with?" Like, number one, she's not that dope. Number two, like, you're fucking, I was like 20 at the time. I was like, "You're 19, 20 now. Bro, move on. Like, what the fuck are you doing?" And then from that moment on is when I really started separating our friendship. I would hit her up every now and then now, you know, things became really cool. And there was a moment where I realized that she literally had no more control over me, was when she was going out with somebody else. And then, you know, we went to the same community college together. And then when she came in, this is like, she came in before we went to, because we would carpool together. We became decent enough where we could carpool with each other's friends. And then she goes, "Hey, so I broke up with that other guy." And just out of nowhere, she told me that. And I was like,
"You're going to rebound?"
And then so I just sat there looking at her. I was like, So?
Yeah.
I was like, "Why are you telling me that?" She goes, "No, I just wanted to let you know, like, you know, we're split up." Because even though they were still together, we were friends, we would flirt a lot. Because we've always had a flirtatious friendship before we got together. And so I was like, "Well, why are you telling me that?" And then she goes, "I just wanted to let you know." She goes, "Maybe I'll try being single," you know, kind of playing it off. And I was like, I looked at her, I started laughing. And I was like,
never again, bitch.
And then she was like, "Why are you laughing?" I was like, "You have not been single since we've been friends. You've never been single once. You are somebody who is incapable of being single. You always need somebody there for you." And then she got pissed. You know, she was like a little mad.
Did she show you up? And she's like, "I'll show you how single I am by staying single for a week."
Exactly. So like a couple of weeks later, she got together with the guy that she was interning at this vet clinic, which she was working at, which means that she already had like a flirtatious relationship with that guy before.
Some people are habitual relationship people.
Exactly. And the guy that she was with after me was somebody that was my really close friend, and he was hitting on her while we were together.
Oh, man.
So she's a homie hopper. You know, she consistently homie hops all the time.
Yeah.
And she's already developing other relationships as she's with somebody else. Because even when they were together, we broke up and I'm her ex-boyfriend. We were flirting with each other all the fucking time.
Damn.
Like, she would come over as we were kicking it, and we would like watch movies together or something, and they're together, and he said he was cool with it, which I don't know why, but she would come over and she would like fall asleep on my lap and all this shit while we're watching movies and shit.
She's constantly in need of validation from people.
And that's when I was like, "Oh shit, David, you have the upper hand now. She's not in control. You're actually in control of the situation." And I think that moment, if she didn't call me annoying, and basically she was calling me a loser, I would have never realized how much of a fucking loser I was. And then from then on, like, my life started to change. She was my biggest life lesson.
Because you were such a loser, you prized her. Mm-hmm. And she would have walked all over you and went for another guy that wasn't giving her attention that she wants validation from.
Exactly. And I couldn't fucking see it too. And it's not like she ever had bad intentions, but that's just, once again, that's the type of guys that have been around her. So that's what she's used to. So it's not really her fault either.
Yeah.
So I just had to look back, and that's when I started doing a shit ton of stand-up. I started doing, I just dated a lot more. I wasn't afraid of more experiences, and my life I started collecting all these stories that was helping my stand-up a lot.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't living just for one human being anymore. I was like, "Yo, man, like, dude, you're not a fucking loser anymore."
That's why they say that whole self-love, self-worth, all that shit is important before you get into a relationship.
Oh, yeah.
That's why it's dangerous for young people, like kids, high schoolers, like they don't even know themselves yet. They don't love themselves. They get into a relationship. That shit hurts.
Oh,
you don't know what the fuck to do. And if you don't have good parents to teach you and walk you through that shit's like Oh man,
I wouldn't even know how to help my teenage son walk through it because I just got to be like, you got to just feel the pain, dude, and it'll pass eventually.
Yeah, and then it's kind of good. I mean, I've been through several good breakups, heartbreaks, and I would say it's for great comedy material. Because I did not learn my fucking lesson, dude. I am a dramatic fucking drunk. Like when it comes to all that shit.
You're passionate, dude. I think you're a passionate guy. You like that feeling.
I think so, man. But the thing is, I think I've been burned so much. I lack the ability in my last relationship, in my last few relationships, actually, to show the good side of the passion. So I'll have the when it's too late passion, when it's anger and like whatever. But like I think now I'm pretty ready because I'm unlocked to be able to just explore all options, you know, because I'm not really afraid to get hurt anymore.
Yeah.
I think I'm past that stage because there was a stage when I didn't believe in love. And that's probably because the multiple breakups that I've had that I'm like, I don't want to go through that pain again. It was fucking brutal.
Yeah.
But now I'm more older. I feel like I can manage the pain better because it's going to happen, you know, but.
Just fucking playing music over a phone. that fucking image right there is hilarious, dude. That's some Danger Boy shit.
Especially looking like a Danger Boy.
That's some Danger Boy
and
shit. And
then the funnier part is hiding it. Hiding what a little fucking bitch you are. Dude, I remember I was in the back seat of a fucking car. I had a gun in my lap. We had some weed, right? And we're smoking. And I literally started crying, like hiding crying. Like my eyes were fucking drooping, right? And I'm out here like not even caring about what's going on in the moment. Like we're driving fast, got a gun on my lap. I don't care. All I care about is I want her back in my life.
I'm getting fucking Glock in your lap and some weed.
Right. And my eyes are just drooping and I'm all like, I'll give this all up. I'll give it all up for her. You know, like I'm like tearing up like a little bitch.
That's fucking funny, man.
And it's the contrast is hilarious. Like we're out here. We went to go race cars and shit. And in my head, I'm like, I hope I die tonight. So then I go on the fucking news or
and she regrets it.
Yeah, dude. See, thinking stupid shit like that. That's why I'm like, young love, man. You do some stupid shit.
Man, people exhibit those behaviors so much. A buddy of mine just went through a breakup. And as he was telling me about what the girl was doing, you could even ask him, because you know him, I literally called word for word everything she was doing and why. And he was like, dude, are you like an oracle? I was like, nah, it's because she's exhibiting child behaviors, like high school behaviors. Like, for example, it would be like on some shit like, oh, well, you should, I want you to leave the house. And, you know, he'll be like, oh, he was like, well, I already packed my stuff and I left. So I'm going to go find a place. And then she blows the fuck up. He goes, well, I didn't understand why she blew up. I was like, you know why she blew up? It's because she wanted the option to tell you to get the fuck out, and you took that from her. And so she wanted to have that power. And then later on, lo and behold, what did she say? She goes, I was really mad because you took that away from me. And I was like, that's some childish shit.
But didn't she tell him to get the fuck out?
So this was afterwards. I guess she had some time to think about what happened before them. And then I was like, I literally told her that is the childish move because she wanted the power of kicking you out and you took that from her. And he goes, how did you know that? I was like, because I've seen this before a million fucking times. It's typical behaviors of people who haven't really like faced hardships like that.
Yeah.
They just want to lash out to hurt somebody. Like in your case, it's like, I want to fucking die so you'll regret it, dude. Yeah. You know?
That Young was love. Me, man.
That's crazy.
Well, some crazy shit. We should do some more young love stories. I got a lot more, man. I haven't even shared this shit yet. It's just fucking funny.
That's fucking tight, dude. Yeah. Well, that wraps up this episode of the Genius Brain Podcast. I know you guys want to hear more, but that's an hour and like 17 or 10 minutes in.
Wow, we went pretty in.
Yeah, so you remember, you all can catch us on iTunes podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, any type of audio platform. Share the video, give us a like and thumbs up. You can even like time tag the parts that you thought were the best. And keep interactive, man. Keep listening, and we'll be there with you every time you travel, every week, Thursdays and Sundays, always Thursdays with Joe. We're popping, we're cracking, we're doing it.
Thank you very much.
Peace.